So the reality of the situation, even though everyone thinks that there's a buck behind every tree in Iowa, it's been 5 years since Teran's harvested a buck with his bow, and putting in the time, carrying the camera gear, him and Keegan hunting their butts off, it's just a tremendous amount of time and effort and a tremendous commitment. Teran's got some serious fire to put an arrow through a buck and get some great meat in his freezer.
It's November 10th. The rut's firing up hard here in Iowa, so as soon as I get done with this, we're gonna put the black racks together and see what we can make happen. We've been covered up in deer all morning. There's a bunch of does on this food plot since the light just started to get up, so we've been trying to be as careful as we can. We had one that was trying to bust us. She sat back here for a little bit, almost in our downwind, just staring us down, so I think we're clear now. We'll see what happens. Stick with us.
The spot that Teran's hunting today, they've got a beautiful big green food plot in the middle of a bunch of thick grassy area. They're excited because they know, hey, there's gonna be deer coming to this food plot. It should be a beautiful day. It's November 10th, it's really go time. Teran and Keegan have a perfect wind in this tree stand. You can see it's blowing right from the plot past them and off into the cover that's behind them. Just a perfect setup. Mature bucks are on their feet. And I think they're banking on really, seeing some good activity on this food plot through the morning. They're in the middle of a big complex of bedding, and bucks are in that late pre-rut phase where they're really covering ground. A few does are starting to go in estrus. Things are really cooking in the whitetail woods. They're excited to use their calls through the morning, see if they can communicate with a buck and put him in the food plot. Well, Teran's been passing bucks on this farm left and right. They're really waiting for a mature buck, trying to grow older, age-structured bucks. And Teran's got one buck in particular he knows is on the farm. It's 8.5-year-old buck. They call it Goalpost. Beautiful buck. He's 8.5 years old. We've got a ton of history with him. It's a buck they know really well, and they're trying to figure out, hey, can we communicate with him this morning, and maybe he'll make a mistake. They've moved past the stage now in the tree stand where they were pinned down by some does. When they climbed in the tree, they had does around them and just on pins and needles for a while, but now those does have left and they're realizing it's a great time to call. So Teran grabs the extinguisher. He's gonna do some doe estrus bleeds, some buck grunts, trying to paint a picture in any deer that are listening's mind that the food plot is hopping, there's doe activity here, there's bucks chasing does, there's an estrus doe in the plot, you've got to come in here to the plot. These bucks are used to seeing a lot of activity around the plot, and so they're just trying to use the call to paint a scenario in a buck's mind that, hey, it's happening at the food plot again, I better get in there. Nothing's really showed up. That's kind of their close range, out to 150, 200 yards. Now they're gonna grab the black racks, hammer them together, see can we reach out a little bit further and paint a scenario in Goalpost's mind. There's a fight going on the food plot, and you better get your butt over here. So they get done rattling, they're just still in the tree trying to figure out, scanning the horizon, looking for Goalposts, seeing, has he heard us? 25 minutes goes by and nothing. And all of a sudden they realize, hey, over to the left, Goalpost is sneaking into the food plot. He's on high alert. This is an 8.5-year-old buck, just incredibly smart animal. And he knows he's gonna creep into the food plot using every sense that he's got, trying to understand, use my nose, use my ears, my eyes. What's going on in this food plot and what am I sneaking into?
Dude, that happened way too fast. It's been looking down. That's an awesome looking deer. As we just killed a stud of an old buck. We've been chasing that deer around for a couple of years. He doesn't have the biggest rack on his head, but he is old and he is a brute. And that felt good. It's been 5 years since I got to let one fly on a buck. And I can't tell you how happy I am right now. Looked like it was a pretty good shot. We're gonna give him a little bit here and we'll get down there and see what happened.
Nothing but absolute congratulations to Teran for having the incredible patience that it takes to pass buck after buck after buck, you know, waiting for what he knows is a mature buck, a mature animal. Probably had 100 bucks during that time walk underneath him that were just not what he was really looking for as a hunter. And after all this time, he gets the reward of an amazing 8.5-year-old buck, you know, with perfect high definition footage. Just what an amazing day of hunting.
He's dead right here, boys. That deer is awesome. What an amazing animal.
So they had 3 really powerful keys to this hunt that I think they executed just amazing. They're heading into a spot that is a beautiful food plot location in the middle of a large amount of bedding, thick bedding and whatnot. And they know that, hey, on November 10th, that's a really, really solid location to catch a lot of activity. And then secondly, they're heading in there with absolutely perfect wind. They have morning thermals too. And then that kind of leads right into, you know, now they're able to use their calling tools. They're in a position of supreme advantage to use those calling tools because that 8.5-year-old buck is not going to be able to come in and win them and bust them. So they can use the extinguisher, use the black racks and do some serious calling and see if they can move their target 8.5-year-old buck, old goalpost, see if they can put him in the food plot and put an arrow in him.